Well, I'm sure you love the Paper Tigers as much as I do, and as much as these two individuals put their energy, their effort, their time into making this thing. Round of applause, everybody. You just have to imagine it. You guys have to imagine it. So I know who they are, but because you're going to see them one at a time, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'll start with you, Bao.
Hi, my name is Bao Tran, the writer-director of the Paper Tigers. Thanks for coming to see it. We hope you enjoyed it, and looking forward to chat with you, Warren.
Thank you. And Yuji?
And I am Yuji Okumoto, and I am one of the producers.
Excellent. You also appear in the film. Come on.
Well,
you flash by.
Yeah.
But you got your
But my role isn't as significant as the director, Bao Tran.
Oh, yes. But Yuji is getting SAG residuals on this, so it's big enough to matter.
He's working every angle. He owns a restaurant. Got to take every angle.
That's right.
Catering
margins. So Bao, it's so good to see you again. And I was trying to remember when we first met, and in my mind, I think you were 12, but you were probably 20. But I think I screened your very first short film, 345. Am I going crazy?
I don't think you're crazy, and I think that sounds about right. Yeah, I made that one. Gosh, maybe a little bit after 2002-ish, 2003, yeah, something like that. But that sounds about right. It was a short film that I made, I think, during college here in Seattle, and definitely sent it out to all the wonderful film orgs in town, and thankful to be programmed. So I would say you got me on my way.
Well, I won't take credit for that. That's all you. But I will say what hit me at that time, and has come true many times, is that filmmakers, young filmmakers with clear visions for what they want to do, are the ones who succeed in my mind. And so I love the fact that you seem to have a really clear idea of what you wanted to do, and damn it, you were going to do it. And I know that Paper Tigers has been a long time in the making. So can you talk about that, 50 years in the making, the Paper Tigers?
Well, yeah, it's not quite a teenager yet, but we're basically all told it's looking like 10 years to get to where we are today. For me, I started the idea really about 10 years ago as a one-page treatment, and we brought it into a pitch lab down at the LA Asian Pacific Film Festival, and it was promising enough that it was like, maybe I should spend some more time on it. So yeah, we just kind of put nose to the grindstone and started writing the whole script. That took a couple of years because I was also working as an editor out in Vietnam. I'm Vietnamese American, so I went and worked on a few friends' films out there. So it was kind of like a little bit back and forth as far as writing and editing. So maybe my mind was all over the place. But I did want to eventually kind of commit to making this film as my first film as director. So I came back to the States and basically kind of set on my way there, and that's how I found Yuji and many other wonderful producers on a producing team to try to put this together. But all told, the biggest time was raising the money. I thought it would be a lot quicker. We all thought it would be a lot quicker, but it happened in its own time in a way. So we're fine with where we are.
Well, talk a little bit, if you can, about putting that team together, including Yuji, because that seems significant, right? Is to get other people to buy into your vision. How do you wind up doing that?
Yeah, well, Yuji can speak to his experience, but I think overall, all of us, I just rounded up people that I wanted to work with, regardless of what we might have done before. This is my first feature, and in fact, it's 3 of the 4 producers' first feature to produce as well. So it was a bit of a all hands on deck, but in a way, I trusted these guys because we had worked for so many projects before, and we just kind of knew what we were capable of and what we could do to support each other, and that felt like more of a solid ground than it is to kind of pitch, such and such Hollywood producer who might fleece me or might change the script on me and do all these things. So it just felt like I had a squad that had my back and loved the script and loved the vision that we were trying to go for, and that's if I have that, you can't be beat.
That's right. And we'll talk about fleecing and changing in a second. But Yuji, you worked with Bao before on a film. When
Correct.
Bao, you hadn't directed before. It's your first feature. You had directed. But what did you see in this at that time, young man?
Well, Bao approached me about this project about 6 years ago. And the first thing he said out of his mouth was kung fu comedy. And I said, all right, I'll do it. I think the thing about it, I'm a big, huge martial arts fan. And I grew up watching martial arts. And so, that to me was a no-brainer to kind of be part of this. And I knew the producers that were already on, and I had worked with Bao on other projects together. And, so I think that the biggest thing for me is about trust. And can you trust everybody? And knowing these guys, before even jumping on, I knew that I can trust them. And like Bao said, that we had each other's back. And that's the most important thing. And so from there, it's just kind of putting the crew together and then the casting of the actors. And, Bao can talk about how that process went with the actors. We lucked out, though. I tell you, we lucked out. We had some, fabulous crew members, but also a fabulous group of actors that jumped on board and also believed in the project. And, I think everybody was there for the right reason. So I think that was the main thing that made this film kind of come together. And I think when you watch the film, you can kind of see that on screen. And it was a beautiful thing to see that chemistry with everybody. But I'll let Bao talk about the casting.
Well, I want Bao to talk about the casting, but I'm also sort of curious about this idea of trust, because you've seen it, Yuji, you're being very, very modest in your depiction of your own life and career. Like, you've seen it from the Hollywood side as well. What makes you trust in somebody like Bao? What have you learned from seeing the other side to going like, this is the one?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to hard work ethic. I worked with Bao on a short film called Black Coffee, which we did for the Seattle International Film Festival for their short program. And just working with him on that short taught me a lot about his vision, his work ethic. So that to me sold me on jumping on board too. And I don't know, I just think that when you've been in this business for so long, you see all the producers, you see all the directors, and you kind of understand what it is that you want as a producer, as a creative, and you learn what not to do and what to do. So I think because of that experience I've had on being on numerous sets and dealing with producers, dealing with directors, I knew what it is that I didn't want to do. So I think with Paper Tigers, it was, it's kind of easy in a way because you know what you want, and you know how to get there without kind of being, kind of a jerk. You just want to do it the right way. And I think that's the main reason why I believed in the collective as a whole.
I think that's gorgeous. And Bao, I want to say, like, it's always seemed clear to me that you do things the right way, or certainly that is your intent to do things the right way, whether it's 345 or Black Coffee or Bookie, whatever, the Challenger. It seems like you want to do things the right way. Where does that drive come from in you? How did you know to avoid the BS?
I don't know. I guess I just, you selectively choose your tribe, and you want to be, just like with diet and food, you want to eat good food and you want to be with good company to make you better. So I think it just came from the aspect that, I just wanted to be the best that I could be. And if anything didn't do that, then that shouldn't be part of my life. So I think that's kind of maybe a way of self filtering around that. I guess it's just kind of an outlook in general that life is too short, so you want to be around with people that can make you better and make you more creative, make you more inspired. And if those things aren't in your life, you should find a way to get rid of it.
Well, considering your BS radar is so strong and you don't have to name names, were there moments in this 10-year process where you thought, wow, here comes some exceptional horse crap?
It takes a special kind, huh? It takes a special kind. Let's put it this way: Hollywood is full of surprises. It's like, even though you've seen the page, you've read the script, you kind of know, it's always just like, it's really still surprising how much old prejudice are still alive, and old out of fashion thinking is still very much in our way at this time. So it's one of those things, the same song, different what are the same lyrics, different song, or something like that. But I don't know what it is. I think when we had pitched this film kind of initially, we were probably with a very optimistic crowd, because it was an Asian American film festival, so everyone kind of understood what we were trying to do. And so maybe that gave us a false sense of hope, or at least a comforting sense of hope. But once we got into the wild and started pitching to kind of the more regular or more enfranchised Hollywood studios, we were in for that rude awakening. That we had this offers for the movie to be a movie at a bigger budget, but with caveat to change the race of our characters. So that stuff happens a lot. This whole whitewashing and race bending, it happens a lot. We're not the only ones to have to deal with it. Every POC filmmaker really has a war story to share. But it is surprising each time we get it, because it's always served up and pitched in a different way. And just like a new level of horse crap, gets served, in a fresh way. So it's you always do have to kind of look at each other. Maybe that's the help of having a producer, to kind of look at each other and kind of go, did you just hear the same thing that I heard? And we're not crazy. We're not being gaslit or anything like that. So we're constantly surprised, but at least we know we have our, at least each other to kind of keep each other accountable.
Well, give Hollywood credit for the balls to try to whitewash a kung fu comedy.
Yeah.
Did you try to get it by with just saying, we've got Michael Shannon for one of the roles?
Yes, yeah. Well, it's funny. It's like, now that you've seen the film, it's we do have one very, very interesting, wonderful, rich white character in the movie, right? So we always thought that would be enough. Like, hey, Hollywood, there's your white guy, right? So, but no, they wanted all the marbles, which again, to what we're talking about, it's like, that's even more surprising, because even the little crumbs that we thought would be enough to kind of get the movie and in a savvy way, be a little savvy, and we thought it was enough, but it's not. Just the way the structure and everything is set up, it's like they want all the marbles.
Well, we can slowly celebrate Hollywood that way. But I want to talk about action, because even though it's a comedy, right, you do a beautiful job with the actual action, and it's not a surprise to me seeing your other work, and particularly The Challenger from like 5 years ago or so. I'd say, is that part of what you learned in editing, do you think? Did that make you a stronger director of that type of material?
Yeah, 100%. I think, at least when I started out, that mid 90s, I was on my own. I didn't have film school or anything, but the biggest inspiration at that time was Robert Rodriguez, Rebel Without a Crew. Just the idea of just picking up a camera, learning, and doing all the departments and doing it all yourself, and not having to wait to find someone who could edit to do anything, and not waiting for someone who could write to make a movie. It's like, you just had to kind of own the whole process, for better, for worse. So at least for me, I wanted to kind of master all aspects of the game and try to get as good as I can be. So that was the kind of the process. And once I got into that, you do understand the editing is related to the writing, and writing is related to the editing, and it's all related to each other. So it's not all these piecemeal way of making a movie or telling a story. It's all, when I'm writing, I'm thinking about how to cut it. When I'm shooting, you're thinking about how to kind of add more lines, change the lines up a bit, and then when you're editing, that's the other form of the last form of writing, if you will, of putting the movie together. So it's all of a piece to me.
Well, it certainly pays off. Yuji, I have to ask you, I mean, like, it's an interesting thing to go from acting to producing and throwing in restaurants in between. God bless Kona Kitchen. And I'm going to say, did you think like, oh, I'm making too much money in the food world, I got to get into producing? Is that the mindset?
Yeah, it was pretty much temporary insanity. What am I thinking? You know, jump from the fire to the frying pan. It was crazy because, you know, running two restaurants is hard enough, but then you decide to go into producing, which is really a lot of work and very time consuming. As an actor, you do your stuff and you're pretty much done for the day. But with producing, it's a constant, you know, grind. It's like, what next? What do we have to do? What fires do we have to put out? So I kind of equate it to being a restaurant owner, because that's exactly what you have to do as a restaurant owner, is constantly put out fires, right? So I was fortunate that I did have that experience in the restaurant, because it kind of made me cool under fire. Because if anything happens, then we just kind of solve the problem, and that's what we have to do with clear, level head. And so, if anything, God bless this Kona Kitchen, because it really helped me segue into this wonderful world of producing that I love so much.
I can't tell if the laugh sold it or just
I'm joking, but you know, it was really a wonderful experience. So
excellent.
can't complain.
So, you know, if people love the Paper Tigers, which I know they have, and they want to tell other people that they need to see it, what do they do?
Well, social media, or just your little, you know, pinochle circle, or whatever you have that you can share. Please just tell them about this movie. We're, you know, playing in Walla Walla and playing it in many other theaters for the time being. But we need all the support that we can get. Obviously, the theatrical experience is the best experience that you can have to see this movie with a crowd of strangers. That's just the best way to kind of take in a film, I think. But of course, however you feel comfortable. We also are on digital platforms, so you can share the news and share the word. You go to our website, thepapertigersmovie.com. Follow us on our socials, tag us on our socials, talk up the movie, share it. And I think the word of mouth is all we really have, because we don't have a big studio campaign or a marketing machine behind us. So it really is based on the goodwill and the good graces of our neighbors here who enjoy the film and can be able to talk it up. So every little bit counts. If anything, the whole story of us getting here to making this movie. Again, like I said, we didn't make this in Hollywood, and we ended up doing a Kickstarter and having private investors who chipped in, and many hands kind of came in to help make this movie. So it wasn't like just one big, you know, fat check that was written to us. It was many, many, many small checks. So if anything, that's a story to tell us here while we're here sharing the film with the world. You know, it is about, you know, many, many voices being able to share the news about the film.
In indie film, it's never one big fat check.
It's never a big one for check.
A whole bunch of little ones, plus bus transfers.
Exactly.
So
we'll take that too. If you have
it.
bus transfers for us, we gotta go from theater to theater. So you gotta get there somehow.
That's right. I have two quick questions for you, and then I'll ask something offline. Essentially, will there be a sequel? Will there be some sort of crossover with Cobra Kai? Will the Paper Tigers take on those bastards?
That's an interesting mega universe. Yeah, I would say never. I don't speaking from the Cobra Kai side, I can't speak for them, but I think you know, you never know. It's flattering that, you know, people even are here to watch and talk about a sequel or a crossover. So to me, I think it's a wonderful testament to that the movie's being received so well.
Excellent. Yuji, do you want to add to that?
No. I don't know if I should. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm just elated.
Well, he doesn't die in either one, so maybe you know, it's kind of there.
Yeah, I'm just elated at the moment. Yeah, we're just happy that you know, the film has been received so well, and we're just you know, excited about that and promoting as much as we can. But who knows? I mean, if this saga continues and goes on to another platform or a sequel and a feature wise, then that's fine with me.
That's fine with you.
Fine with me.
Well,
Ain't no money like sequel money, Warren. That's what we're talking about.
that's right. You don't even have to be involved.
Exactly.
That's right. So what is next? People will want to know what's next, and I'm sure that you're just sort of breathing a sigh of relief that this one is done. But what is next, if you can say that?
I'm working on a couple projects, but obviously with this as being such a a labor of love, it really was labor to on delivery as well. So even as we're releasing the film, we want to spread the word, and so it's been a whole effort to even promote the film and get this film out there and put these on people's radar. So at least for the time being, we're just so focused on getting this this movie into people's awareness and consciousness and in their dreams, and try to inceptionize them that they must watch Paper Tigers, and eventually they'll wake up and and do exactly that. So I think it's a lot of work to be able to do that. So the next projects will come in due time, but we just hope that this will do well, because if it doesn't do well, there won't be a next one.
You just need to expedite the process. And Yuji, did you want to add that?
No, I think he said it all, but I do love Inception. I was in that, by the way.
Yeah, watch Inception too.
No, yeah, I just I don't have anything solid or concrete yet. There's some projects that are looming on the horizon, so I will wait until that happens.
Okay, but Kona Kitchen, 2 locations. Check it out.
Exactly. We're open. Kona Kitchen, dine in. We're at 50% right now, but at least we're serving people, which I'm really happy about.
If I'm the 50% eating, I don't care about the other 50%.
Exactly.
That's all.
There you go, Warren.
You're on the right half.
That's right. Thank you, Bao. Thank you, Yuji. A wonderful film. And Bao, I just have to say, it makes me so happy, because from the first time meeting you, I just felt like this guy cares so much and has such a clear path forward. And I love that you followed it. Nothing has stood in your way, even though people have tried to. Congratulate. It's a terrific film.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Warren. Appreciate it.
Thank you.